stage.
No way. No.
All right, well, I'm going to play with the mic some more and see if I can get it better.
Yeah. I mean, if he comes back saying, look, I can't do it.
Check. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. The silent auction items will be closing at around 7:15. I know you want to give to the NAACP, and it's nice to take home something. Please just bid up the items. I know the items aren't special, but they're special to me because I work my butt on getting them suckers on the table. So you better buy something. Anyway, thank you so much for coming. Silent auction items and table will close, Jamal Fox, within 15 minutes. Thank you very much.
Good evening, everyone. How are you this evening? Oh, no. You could do so much better than that. We are here celebrating 105 years of the fight for racial, social, and economic justice. Give yourselves a hand for showing up for this historic event. If you don't know, my name is Joanne Hardesty, and I have the privilege of serving as your Portland City Commissioner. I want to appreciate my colleague and my friend, and you'll hear from him later, Mayor Ted Wheeler. Don't believe all the stuff you read about us fighting all the time. We don't fight all the time. We have healthy discussions. Welcome. I am so honored to be your MC tonight. But without further ado, I'm going to ask Pastor Robin D. Gordon to come to the stage and lead us in the Negro National Anthem. Please join me on the stage. You're right there.
I'll just do it from the piano over
You'll
here.
do it from the piano. That'll be just great. Please stand. The words on the back of the program, if you need them.
Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring. Ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of a new day begun. Let us march on till victory is won. Good job, everybody. Y'all sang.
Amen. Now I want to invite Cynthia Butts to the stage to sing America the Beautiful.
Oh, beautiful
Thank you, thank you, thank you. I want to invite Dr. Bora Harris to come to the stage and provide a down-home NAACP welcome. This dress is happening, right? I mean, yeah, that should have been my dress.
It's yours. Good evening and welcome to all of our dignitaries, clergy, sponsors, supporters, and all of you, the great people from every walk of life who comprise our communities. Our president, Pastor Edie Mondene, and the members of the Portland branch of the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, passionately called the NAACP, welcome you as we celebrate 105 years since the inception of the NAACP. And to our 2019 Freedom Gala, removing the thorns of racism in the city of Portland. We welcome you to this occasion to share the civic discourse, engaging across lines of differences to make a shining difference in our beautiful city of Portland, the city of roses. We welcome your presence that resonates a spirit of freedom in this room, in our hearts, our minds, and the very soul of the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. Thank you and you're welcome.
It is my honor to invite Reverend Pastor Walter Hills to come and do the invocation. I know you're hungry, you're looking at that food, but give us just a couple more minutes and we will let you loose.
Let us pray. God of our weary years, God of our silent tears, thou who hast brought us thus far on the way. We thank you for giving us this day, for this is the day that you have made. We shall rejoice and be glad in it. We're grateful that you have allowed us to come into this place and share this space together. We ask now, God, that your will would reign supreme, that the words of our mouths and the meditations of our hearts be found acceptable in your sight. That, God, as we uplift each other, we will uplift you. For, God, you are the source of our strength and you are the strength of our life. Bless the food that has been prepared to nourish our physical bodies. Allow it to go down to our good and enable us to continue to do work for your glory. And we will be forever careful to give your name the glory, the honor, and the praise. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Thank you so much for that invocation. We will have Olivia Klugman as entertainment while we eat. So eat, fellowship, and enjoy the entertainment that's ahead. I'll be back in a little bit. Enjoy your meal.
Ladies and gentlemen, the silent auction will be closing in 5 minutes. Again, it's not the item that you're taking home, it's the idea that you gave to the NAACP and help support me. So isn't that beautiful? All righty, so again, 5 minutes, and thank you very much. And Dad, you ready?
Hello, my name is Olivia. I'm gonna sing 2 songs for you all. The first song is a song that's really old. It's by Bob Dylan from 1963, and some of the questions that he asks in this song are still relevant today, so that's why I thought I would sing it. How many roads must a man walk down before you can call him a man? Yes, and how many seas must a white dove sail before she sleeps in sand? Yes, and how many times must the cannonballs fly before they're forever banned? Well, the answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. Oh, the answer is blowing in the wind. Oh, how many years must a mountain exist before it is washed to the sea? Oh, and how many years can some people exist before they're allowed to be free? Oh, and how many years can a man turn his head, pretending he just doesn't see? The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. Oh, the answer is blowing in the wind. one more song. This is an original I wrote a few years ago. It's called Spirit in Disguise. She's a beautiful fool, but an ugly intellectual. She disregards the rules, but they tie her down. No, she can't make a sound. She's cynically optimistic, unintentionally cryptic. She's not free yet, but she wants to be. Oh, she's a spirit in disguise. She's a goddess with a knack for climbing trees. She's a maniac and she'll dance alone in the middle of the street. She's radiant but fragile. There's a universe behind each smile. She's not free yet, but she wants to be. Oh, she's a spirit in disguise. Oh, she's not free yet, but she's learning to be. Oh, she's a spirit in disguise.
Ladies and gentlemen, the silent auction. You guys, you know you got like 3 minutes to get away from those tables, and we're gonna have one more beautiful, beautiful song from Olivia Klugman. And please, before she begins, let's put our hands together for Olivia tonight. She is volunteering her time, and she's a mega superstar, and she sounds fabulous.
Okay, this is my original song. It's called Fire Alarm, and I just wanted to thank Edie Mondane for having me. I'm really honored to be here, so thank you. Last night I dreamt of kissing you. It was soft and sweet and warm, but it was desperate too. You say it isn't fair, fingers tangled in my hair. Stop asking me to measure how much I care. Oh, why do we trade our love for freedom? Oh, why do we trade our freedom for a safe pair of arms? Why do we come together just to fall apart? And will our tired arguments become works of art? I should have listened when they warned us by setting off the fire alarm. let you seek out your need to be held close. Oh, so tell me, baby, do you believe in fate? 'Cause I have a tendency to eat whatever falls onto my plate. Oh, why do we trade our love for freedom? Oh, why do we trade our freedom for a safe pair of arms? Why do we come together just to fall apart when, well, our tired arguments become works of art? I should have listened when they warned us. I should have listened when they warned us. I should have listened when they warned us by setting off the fire alarm. Thank you so much for having me. Enjoy the rest of your night. Okay, I guess I'm doing one more. I'll do another one. Here's my last song. It's called Sailor Song, and it's also an original. So. She was a sailor stationed at the northern bay. Aimlessly inspired, I was making my way up and down the interstate. I was just along for the ride when we locked eyes, drowning out the screams of the party behind us. Only 2 short days before I'm headed out to leave. Couldn't help but lose myself in a fantasy where you would sail me away. We'll watch the world as it floats by. We'll gaze at every star, asking every why. Oh, someday our life on land will be a distant memory through every ocean, every sea. Stay true to me. So baby, sail me away. We'll throw our troubles off the bow, find shelter from the storm. Lay here with me now. We'll sing until our hearts sink deep down into the blue, drunkenly waltzing in some smoky saloon. Each morning when we wake up, the horizon will be blue. Through every ocean, every sea, I will be true. All right. Thank you. Is that?
Let's put our hands together for Olivia one more time.
One more time, yes. So in about 10 minutes, we will start the official program. But right now, enjoy your food, enjoy your fellowship, and the silent auction is officially closed. Be back in 10. So I know most of you may not have received your dinner yet. However, some of you are eating dinner. Some of us are eating salad. I hope you're enjoying your dinner. I am going to start the program because we have some incredible speakers who want to come up and remind us. Let me tell you, on my worst day, I tried to imagine what it must have been like 105 years ago when a group of African American and white community members decided that what we needed was a civil rights organization. If I could have your attention for just a moment. Can you imagine what it must have been like 105 years ago when people said, we need an organization in Portland that will stand up for racial justice, that will stand up for economic justice, that will stand for social justice. Can you imagine what that must have been like 105 years ago? We stand on the shoulders of some great sheroes and heroes in our community. Let us never forget, and if this administration in DC hasn't taught us that civil rights are not permanent, civil rights are based on who's in office at the time. We are fortunate in Oregon to have some great leaders. And it is my honor now to bring up Senator Ron Wyden, who has been on the front line of these fights for over 30 years. We have to appreciate what we have, but we also have to challenge ourselves to be braver and stronger and more vocal and more determined. Because I don't know about you, but I'm not going back to the Jim Crow days. I am not going back to the back of the bus. I am not going back to having my vote not count. It is critical that we remember the shoulders that we stand on. It is my honor to bring Ron Wyden to the stage. Senator Ron Wyden, who has been a fearless leader. The work that you've done in Congress around protecting our rights to understand who is doing what has been phenomenal. And you know, I don't give praise to elected officials too often, but I want you to know how proud I am to have you as my U.S. Senator. Thank you.
And let me tell you something. If you're talking about brave and strong and determined, you have defined our very own Commissioner Hardesty. And it is a pleasure to be able to partner with her. She's doing some exceptional work in terms of community organizing now. We're looking for a new place in order to house some critically needed kind of services. Grace Stratton and the commissioner, and I see my friends Lou Frederick and Congressman Blumenauer, we're going to be teaming up. We're going to make that happen because of Joanne Hardesty. The community will have those services. And I'm going to be brief and just start this off by way of saying it would be wrong to say that America has only spent the last 3 years fighting the poisons of white supremacy, white nationalism, hate, and the violence that has accompanied it. But what is now especially troubling is that so much of this seems to be getting a lot of sympathy from that one place that should be rejecting it and bringing us together, and that's 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. So we've had the poison right here in the streets of Portland, in our public transit and post offices and grocery stores. And obviously the big challenge now is to mobilize at all levels of government. And I've supported a variety of pieces of legislation, as Congressman Blumenauer has, as the commissioner has, as Mayor Wheeler has. Let's give him a round of applause as well. And I just want to mention one in particular that's right in my heart and in my head tonight. Right now, as of today, we are looking at yet another election, the 2020 election, where so many of the values of the NAACP and President Mondale, let's give him a round of applause because of what he has espoused. So many of those core values of the NAACP are going to be on the ballot in 2020. And yet, as of today, communities of color are not going to get fair access to that ballot. So what Congressman Blumenauer and I are trying to do is make some basic changes. I'm not going to rest until everybody in America gets to vote the Oregon way, where their ballot shows up at their house. Like you, I have had it with watching these horrible pictures on the news Saturday or Sunday before the election, where you have huge swaths of communities of color standing in line, waiting, hoping somebody will tell them where they could vote. Their children will be hungry and thirsty and they'll be on their hip. Their elders will be frail and will find it hard to stand through the evening. This is not America. We are going to stay at it, because if there was one thing Dr. King counted more than anything, it's everybody was going to be counted, and that meant everybody would equally have the chance to vote in America. And I will just close by this. Congressman Blumenauer and I have a partnership in Washington, D.C. to work on issues like election security and low-income housing and lowering the cost of prescription drugs and protecting Medicaid. We'll work on the federal level. We're so lucky to have Commissioner Hardesty, Mayor Wheeler at the local level. I believe Lou Frederick is in the House. He is sleepless in Portland because he just got off a plane. We want you to know that the policies we espouse are going to be exactly what President Mondale is going to talk about at church, what he has been advocating for years and years. They're what the NAACP has worked for year in and year out. And we just want you to know, no white nationalism, no white supremacy, no white privilege is going to deny communities of color a fair shake in America.
All right. We got Senator Wyden on fire tonight. Now, you know, I'm not one for girl worship, but I went to Washington, D.C. recently to visit one of my favorite congressional members, and his office actually told me where I could find a squad. Because, you know, there's some powerful young women of color who didn't wait their turn, who didn't ask Mother, may I? They just simply went to their community and made the case for why they should be elected to the U.S. Congress. I want to personally thank Representative Earl Blumenauer for his leadership over the last at least 6 to 8 years of identifying women all over the country and mentoring them so that they were ready to serve when they got to Congress. That's who Earl Blumenauer is, and that's the added value he adds from his many years of experience in Congress. Please join me in welcoming our representative, Earl Blumenauer, to the stage.
Whoa. Feeling the love. She got Ron Wyden cranked up? You feel it? I deeply appreciate the kind words. But one of the things that was really fascinating when those 4 young women of color joined us in Congress is the energy and the commitment to be able to step forward. They've taken a lot of incoming from this administration, from some people in the news media, go back to where they came from. Dude, I was born in Detroit. Anyway, I won't go into that. Although I will say, I wish I could claim credit for mentoring them. They weren't people that needed my help to get elected. But I will say that Ayanna Pressley is the co-chair of the Bike Caucus. That woman gets it. Thank you for the opportunity to join with you this evening. I want to pick up where Ron left off. These issues are still vital. They are still haunting us. I mean, we are in the midst of an area where there was a vibrant African American community that faced disruption from their government and from the community. There were African American veterans who came back from World War II and were unable to get veterans home loans in areas that were redlined. In fact, some of you may have seen the report I put out on housing, suggesting that the federal government get back in the business of housing. And I detail to a painful extent how the federal government has been involved with blatant segregation against people of color, especially African Americans, when it comes to housing. And that's not just about where they live. The federal government denied them the opportunity to build wealth that most of Middle America had through home ownership. So this is a generational problem that we face. I am strongly committed to changing the failed war on drugs that played its way out with communities of color, especially African American young men, destroying the lives of perhaps 1 million with unequal application of a stupid law. And now we're fighting to make sure that opportunities are available to African American to be part of this growing business. And the mayor was with me when we had a local African American dispensary. We need to have more of those from coast to coast. We need to make it easier to expunge records, in some instances, for things that people don't think should be a crime anymore. It's time to step up and make it happen. And last but not least, I want to say how strongly I feel that we push back on the notice somehow that discrimination was a thing of the past. It is alive and sadly sick in America today. We passed legislation in the House to do what Ron talked about in terms of having the Oregon election system. We passed it in the first month of this Congress. And Moscow Mitch is sitting on it in the Senate because these are things that threaten them. Well, election reform, drug reform, and criminal justice reform, and making the housing system atone for the sins of the past with opportunities for today are part of our mission now. I want to thank you for the leadership here, the commitment to bring these issues to the forefront, and I pledge to you that my work in Congress will put a spotlight on it and work to move these forward in this Congress and especially in the next Congress, which is going to be a lot better, with a new president, with a stronger Democratic majority in the House, and I think Ron Wyden will be Chairman Wyden in the Senate when it takes over. I long for the days. Thank you so much.
Now, if you're following in the program, you may see that I'm going out of order, but you know, that's just how I roll. We had to make some minor changes, but they were all absolutely fabulous. I want to now introduce a gentleman who has been giving back to this community for a long, long, long time. His name is Carl Talton. Carl Talton is the former executive chair of United Fund Advisors, but I met him when he was active with the Black United Front and working to make sure that people in the African American community had access to wealth building opportunities. It is my pleasure to welcome Carl Talton to the stage.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Well, good evening. It does. Very nice ring. Welcome this evening. I just really want to add my thanks and appreciation to the NAACP, the 114 years that they've carried the banner, continued to fight against racism, and continued to try to remove those thorns, as it were. My only sadness is that they're still there. We're still fighting. We're still trying to move forward. But it's always good to see that the NAACP still has the energy, still has the leadership, and still has the enthusiasm, and still has the fight in their belly, because that's what it's going to take to move us forward. Over the last few years, I've read a couple of books that are real interesting. And I think reading those books gives us a little bit of a sense of how we got into the predicament that we're in the Black community, and maybe even some suggestions as to how we may move forward. I would assume most of you have read some of these books. The first one is The Color of Law. Color of Law is about real estate and how real estate has been manipulated in our community to move us around, to change us, to not give us opportunities at a lot of things, not just home ownership, but jobs, business ownership, and so forth. The second is When Affirmative Action Was White. And it really speaks to the wealth gap between the Black community and the white community. Why is it there? Why does it exist, and why does it persist? That book gives you an awful lot of insight as to why those things are in place. And the last one, of course, is The New Jim Crow, which really speaks to the judicial system, the judicial process. How that process treats our community, looks at our community, and behaves when they're dealing with us. But as long as NAACP is on the job here in Portland, I'm sure that they'll provide the kind of leadership, given the folks that we have sitting around our table up front here. I know all of these folks, I know them all to be honorable people, but the one thing that they need is our support and a little bit of direction from us. And with that, I think we can get this job done. Thank you.
So my understanding is there are some scholarships that are going to be given out, and the mayor. Go ahead with the mayor. Go ahead with the mayor. Right. All right. Yes. Let's go with the mayor. I have too many different people giving me instructions, you know? And so, you know, the woman with the mic is always the one in charge, right? And so it is my honor to have the pleasure of introducing my colleague, my friend, and every once in a while, my battle partner. Ted Wheeler has a hard job in the city of Portland. His job is to ensure that all of us thrive in this community. Some days, it's a little easier than others. But I can tell you this evening in public that I believe that Ted Wheeler's heart is always in the right place. I know he cares passionately for the people in the city of Portland. I also know he needs to hear more from people like those in his audience. Because if you don't show up, your perspective, your viewpoint cannot be considered. Please give a warm welcome to our mayor, my colleague, Ted Wheeler.
Well, there's no question, Joanne, that it is a privilege to work with you, and I appreciate it. And I do like it when we're battle partners, too. That's actually a lot of fun, and I think it appeals to both of our innate internal personalities. And so thank you for your leadership. I think it's pretty obvious to everybody here that we're living at a very critical time in U.S. history when it comes to racial relations. And we have to be honest, we're seeing it play out on the streets of our own city in some very alarming ways, including when self-described white supremacists seek to create chaos and sow fear in our community time and time again. That's what we're hearing, but I also want you to know what I'm seeing. And what I'm seeing is individuals and groups are coming together in this community to have difficult and meaningful conversations about race and to help engage in past policies to overcome the racism that still exists in our society. Now, more than ever, we're seeing the empowerment of disenfranchised communities. We're seeing more people of color run for office, take leadership roles in the private sector and in the nonprofit sector. We have been living with and contending with racism in the state of Oregon for a long, long time. And only recently have we begun to openly and meaningfully acknowledge and understand how that long-term generational racism continues to wreak havoc and have an impact on our society today. I've oftentimes heard people attempt to distinguish Oregon or the Pacific Northwest from the South. And you know why they're doing it? They're doing it because they want to distance themselves from overt racism. But I'm here to tell you what you already know in the NAACP, which is our history right here in Oregon, right here in our beloved community, is awash in sin. It is awash in sin. And we have to acknowledge this, and we have to remember it, because until we do these things, we cannot move forward together. We cannot achieve what the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King put before us as a vision of where we want to be as a city, the beloved community. And people, I'm here to tell you, I believe we will get there. Even in this dark time, I have the hope and the understanding internally in my heart. We will get there. It's not going to be easy. It's very easy to talk about inclusion and equity, right? I mean, this is Portland, Oregon. Everybody does it. It's a lot harder. It's a lot harder, and it's a much higher mountain to climb to embody that. And so I made a decision as mayor that I was not only going to speak my true values, my honest values, and I would not let anybody deter me from that. And I would continue to work with Joanne and others to bring our community together, to espouse our values. And I would make certain that it wasn't just speaking values, but that it was also action-oriented, that we were talking about real and measurable outcomes. And that's my commitment to you. One other thing before Joanne kicks me off the stage, before I get to my final comment. The attention this city has received of late, where we have the alt-right and white supremacists walking around our community, that's just the visible manifestation of what's going on here. Let's talk about what's not so visible. And what's not so visible is disparities around educational outcomes, disparities around jobs, disparities around access to housing, disparities around health care, things you and the NAACP have been fighting for years and years and years. And those things, while less visible than a bunch of white guys running through your community, sprouting hate and engaging in acts and violence, those things, while not as visible, are just as insidious to the people who are on the wrong side of those disparities. And that's why Joanne and that's why we passed a resolution against hate and white supremacy, because people needed to hear the values of what we stood for and what we will never allow this city to be for. We're never going to be a racist city the way the people who come to this community to spout their hate want us to be. We're never going to be that. And we laid down that marker because there's people in the community who need to hear it from us. People whose voices and lived experiences have never been centered in our conversations. Well, now they are. And last but not least, in closing, Commissioner, I want to thank you. In a time of divisive politics where people are trying to make one group of people fear another group of people, I want to tell you, as the mayor, I need you. I need you. Even when you disagree with me, I need you. We need to work together. It's really important that we do these things. And you in the NAACP for 105 years have been there fighting the good fight. You have already been there. I'm committing to you right here, right now, tonight. I am there for you. And we will fight together, and you will bring your social justice perspective to the table. You will help this community to heal. You will help lead the Reformation. And I will be there, and Joanne will be there every single step of the way. So thank you for being here. Thank you for your leadership.
All right, that's my mayor. I've known Ted Wheeler since before he ran for Multnomah County Commissioner, Multnomah County Chair. And that was a few offices ago. And that's why I know that his heart's in the right place and that he, in fact, really believes that this city can serve all the people, not just some of the people, not just the people who think they're entitled to access. Because we've opened City Hall up, and it brings me joy when I see the city council chambers filled and the balcony filled. Because you know what that says? That says people are paying attention. And that says people expect good things to be coming from this city council, right? So we're not there yet, but we're getting there. And we're being intentional about getting there. So thank you, Mayor Ted Wheeler, for being here tonight It matters that you showed up tonight, so thank you. I've also been remiss in not thanking and appreciating some of my sister friends who are in the audience tonight. We have Multnomah County Commissioner Lori Stedman in the house. Let's give her some applause. Just like all good politicians, she may have had to go to her second or third or fourth event tonight. But I saw her earlier, and it matters when people show up to support the NAACP. I also want to thank Oregon Supreme Court Justice Adrian Nelson for being in the house. Doesn't it just have a nice ring when you say Oregon Supreme Court Justice Adrian Nelson, right? Just kind of rolls off the tongue. And I also want to appreciate my sister friend from Clackamas County Circuit Court, Yolanda Watkins, in the house. And I believe, I can't imagine that State Senator Lou Fredericks, I don't see him on my program. How is that even possible for him to show up? Oh, we're getting an award together. Okay, so he'll be on the program later. But please put your hands together for Oregon Senator Lou Fredericks. I was like, I know we can't be in the same room and you not be on the program. I didn't know what was up with that. So, okay, I feel better now. So apparently we have some scholarships that are about to be awarded at this time. Who's doing that piece? Oh, it is Mr. Harper and the oh, wait, we got something else? Okay. So you want to do? Okay, see, you know, I just love it when people just keep whispering in my ear about, no, don't do that, do this. Okay, so I'm going to do this instead of that. I want to take a moment to introduce, now I don't know if you know about this bad brother that's running OHSU. Have you been up on the Hill and seen the doctor in action? Huh? How many? I want to see a show of hands. How many people have had the opportunity, have had the pleasure to spend some time with the president of OHSU, Dr. Janice Jacobs? Hands up in the air high. Oh, well, this is your audience, doctor, because apparently they don't know how bad you are yet. Apparently they don't know that there is a brother that's on the Hill. I know, of course our Oregon Supreme Court Justice would know, because, you know, she's in the know. And he's from Arkansas. Let me just say, by way of St. Louis, oh, see, they want me to get all those little states and cities into it. Let me just say that, as you know, for a teaching hospital, a lot of people come through our city. And they come through our city, some are in medical school, some are people who are in desperate need of help. But to know that Dr. Jacobs is in charge of making sure that everybody gets quality care, that they are treated with respect, and that they know that when they show up at OHSU, there's a team that's going to take care of them. Please join me in putting your hands together for the president of OHSU, Dr. Jacobs.
I think I'm a little bit out of my league there, but thank you, Commissioner. You know, as she said, I'm a Southern boy, so I was born in Arkansas. And times like these, I like to think of what I call the lessons from the old folks. You know, those kind of things that my old folks tried to tell me that I maybe didn't quite listen as closely to as I should. But as I was thinking about my comments tonight, I thought I would reflect on a couple of those. There was Big Mother, grandmother. One of her favorites was, we would know people by their work. We would know good people by their good work. We would know good institutions by their good work. My hero was actually Grandpa Tate, though. He prematurely grayed his long flowing hair. You know, I remember the family back in the day, we would all get together and go pick black-eyed peas. Whole family, you get to keep a part of what you harvested. Grandpa Tate had actually lost an arm in a factory accident. Back in the 50s, he had somehow saved enough money to let all of his daughters, my mother included, go to college. So there was this one day, I thought I was a pretty strapping young man. We put these burlap bags on our shoulders. Anybody know burlap bags? You kind of put them in and you work down the row. And it usually would take almost a half day to get down one row. You'd have lunch, turn back, come around. So I remember one day, Grandpa Tate, with one arm, had outpicked me and everybody else by at least twice. So I remember looking him in the eye and said, Grandpa Tate, how can you do that? And he said, with great dramatic effect, son, there may be snow on the mountain, but there's fire in the furnace. All right, so that was a story about desire. That was a story about intestinal fortitude. But unfortunately, Big Mother passed away, so Grandpa Tate got remarried, and he married Miss Iola, we called her. And she had a favorite expression. Her expression was, you know, boy, thunder is just the noise, it's lightning that does the work. All right? So that's what we've been about at OHSU. We've asked our members, so what do we want OHSU to be in the next several years? We've been engaged very much in a strategic planning process, and we're about to move forward. This is an effort where we ask the members to describe what we want the institution to be no later than 2025, that future picture. We would drive that like a stake in the ground and then reverse engineer the process. We had something like 52,000 ideas. Over a third of our members participated. We had 853 project leaders, and that strategic plan has elements that I think resonate with what we need to do to reduce or eliminate the thorns of racism here in Oregon. There are 3 tactics I want to tell you about that you'll see and hear more about as we go forward, but the overall objective is to build a diverse, equitable environment where all can thrive and excel so that we enhance health and health care in every part of our community. There are 3 tactics that we're going to deploy. The first one, educational delivery. As you heard, we're an educational institution. We have to make sure that we're training our future providers to be sensitive and aware of the needs of a diverse community. We have a number of initiatives that will advance what we call a diverse, culturally competent learning community and a healthcare workforce, such as continuing unconscious bias training, such that now over half of our employees, all 19,000 of us, have had some sort of unconscious bias training. The key is, what do we do next and what do we do with it? And then thirdly, we're going to be looking at what we call new care models. And these are models such that we push healthcare upstream, address the social determinants of health so as to improve healthcare. As you may have heard, I don't want to offend anyone, but genetics and proteomics, protein, DNA, those things are important. Genetics loads the gun, social determinants pull the trigger. So that means we have to pay attention to those care models that will address those social determinants of health as we go forward. In closing, I think we're fortunate, I'm certainly fortunate to be at an institution who has countless members who demonstrate integrity, compassion, and leadership every day by providing the very best health care, the very best education, pursue research that will change how healthcare is delivered for everyone in a safe and inclusive environment. So we look forward to continuing our partnership with you, the other key element of our strategic plan. Thank you very much.
It's all good. It's all good. It's around here somewhere. Huh. Man, I tell you, boy, you go out to places and who knows, people just walk off with stuff. I want to invite our musical guest to start making her way to the piano. I am so thrilled that we are all in for a treat this evening. We have a world-renowned gospel singer in our midst. And you know, I gotta tell you, right? It's like there's gospel and then there's gospel, right? And I am pretty sure that when Miss Zella Jackson Price is done, you're gonna understand that you heard gospel. All right? Put your hands together and welcome Miss Zella Jackson Price.
Hello, I'm so glad to be here in this colorful room. I mean, roses come in many colors, don't it? And this is a room of beauty. This is just looks so beautiful. He keep doing great things for me. I got acquainted with Portland almost 5 years ago. I'm the mother that was reunited with her daughter after 49 years. They told me she was dead, and her foster mother told her I was dead, and found out that she was in Portland, Oregon. We was united. I got 4 beautiful grandchildren that came from Portland. So all I can say is he keep doing great things for me. Put your hands together. Oh, he's playing, ain't he? Oh, yeah. I said he keep doing great things for me. Oh, yeah. I said he keep doing great things for me. Can I say it again, y'all? Oh, he keep doing great things for me. You can clap if you want to. Oh, he keep, yeah, doing great things for me. You know what? Now if I had 10,000 hands, I'd use them all to lift his name. That's not all, y'all. And if I had 10,000 tongues, hey, I'd praise his name with everyone. You know why? Yeah, he loves me better, so much better than anyone else. He takes better care of Zella than I care for myself. Oh, he keeps doing great things for me. Just look at me, y'all. He keeps doing great things for me. Come on, play that piano before we go up. Music make you feel good, don't it? Get all in your bones. Yeah! Yeah. See, he loves me better, so much better than anyone else. He takes better care of Zella than I care for myself. For me, oh Lord, yeah, he keeps on, 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 he keeps on. Let me hear you say it. He keeps on. I heard you was from St. Louis, boy. He keeps on.
Well, I am glad to see they got you up on your feet. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Wow, yes. What a powerful, powerful voice. All right, so you having a good time? You do know why we're here, right? We are celebrating 105 years of excellence. It is my pleasure now to bring Jeff Miller to the stage. He is the president and CEO of Travel Portland. Jeff, are you here? Ah, there's Jeff. He knew he was next.
I think I have pulled the worst spot on the program. Wow. Thank you, Commissioner Hardesty. Well, Travel Portland is the destination marketing and management organization for the city, and you may say, what's that? Well, our job is to bring meetings, convention, and leisure travelers to Portland to spend their money in businesses large and small and in every community. Our team traveled back to Baltimore about a year and a half ago with now Commissioner Hardesty to make a pitch for the NAACP convention in 2020. We did not get that convention, but we worked really, really hard on it. And our goal now with Pastor is to bring the regional convention here, and we have our sights set on the national convention at the next time that we can get it. Now, we did bring the National Council on Race and Ethnicity in Higher Education to Portland this spring. And that organization had Commissioner Hardesty spoke at that. They had their highest attendance ever. They thought it would be this year in New York City. It was in Portland, Oregon this spring with over 5,000 attendees. They were so impressed with Portland, Oregon, that they have asked us to pitch them for an every 5-year rotation, which is very unusual. So Portland showed off exactly as we thought it would. We know that these conventions create an opportunity for our community to have conversations with professionals from across the country. So we're very excited about that. And you may or may not know that with our partners at Prosper Portland, we created My People's Market, which is a celebration of entrepreneurs of color with a business-to-business component, but also with a community celebration. And it has been phenomenal. The fourth one was this spring when Encore was in town. So we had the opportunity to introduce those entrepreneurs to people from across the country. And I will tell you, we're taking a few of those entrepreneurs with us to Japan in a few weeks. And our newest board member, Bertoni Foston from Abbey Creek Vineyards, will be joining us in Japan instead of Gaia. It's our job to introduce businesses from Portland around the world, not just to other people. So we're excited about that. I will tell you that I couldn't be more pleased to be here. We're excited about the work that we're doing, the business to business. It's about economic impact. So thank you all for being here. We look forward to really great partnerships. Thank you, Mr. Hardesty.
I got to tell you, if you have not been to My People's Market, you are in for a treat. Oh my gosh, I have never seen so many black people in Portland in my entire life. It is absolutely true. I walked in and went, whoa, and it was only 6 o'clock, right? It had just started, and it was packed jam. We have entrepreneurs that are working out of their homes that most of us would never see. And when you go to something like My People's Market, what you find is that the creative community is live and well in Portland, and we just need to make sure that we have access to these fabulous entrepreneurs. They are here, they are thriving, and they need a home. So we're gonna work on helping them get a home. That's the other part. And I just want to appreciate Jeff Miller and his team for working so hard with us to try to bring the National NAACP conference here. But we couldn't do it for 2020, but I know we'll be able to do it for 2024. No question. And I have been remiss because I did not introduce Gerald Hankerson, who is the regional president of the NAACP. He lives in Seattle, but he's been my partner in crime for quite a few years. And so I am so thrilled to have him in the audience tonight. Thank you so much for coming to join this celebration. Next, I have the pleasure of introducing Andrew Hohen, who is the president of Portland Business Alliance. Now, let me just say that sometimes the Portland Business Alliance and other community groups don't see eye to eye. Sometimes, right? But let me assure you that with Andrew, I always get an open ear, a good dialogue, and someone who's committed to solutions, not creating conflict and hassle. It has been a pleasure to get to know Andrew, because you know he's from the East Coast too. Tell you, us folks from the East Coast are just coming to Oregon, taking over. Sorry. It is my pleasure. Please join me in welcoming Andrew Hohen, president of Portland Business Alliance, to the stage.
I'll keep it warm for you up here, okay? Good evening, everybody. Good evening, I appreciate that. It is a pleasure to be here as the president and CEO of the Portland Business Alliance. I'm actually truly humbled to be invited to join you tonight. And of course, you put Jeff Miller and I, the two bald white guys, right back to back with one another. Won't forget that one, Reverend. Thanks a lot. But as the Portland Business Alliance, our job is to be stewards of the economy, to be advocates for business, and to care about the issues that are relevant to those who are trying to make it here in this city and to grow their business, to provide jobs, to put bread on people's tables, and that's what really matters. And following just a long stream of really distinguished speakers, really profound individuals that I enjoy hearing from, and I just have to say that there's also something very personal about the fact that you've chosen this location. And I think it needs to be called out that was a truly thoughtful, welcoming, and really closing the loop on a big issue that happened right here at the DoubleTree. So thank you to the NAACP. It's really worth mentioning. I could go on about the things that we're doing in the Portland Business Alliance to be more thoughtful about the way that we approach policy, about endorsements, about the way that we approach communities of color. But I actually want to speak a little bit more personally about two individuals I share the stage with now. And the first, of course, is our commissioner, who said real straightforward, you know, we don't always see eye to eye. Well, we didn't endorse the commissioner in the election. Well, guess who won? After the commissioner won, we sat down, we got together, and we rolled up our sleeves, and we said, let's put that behind us. And I want you to know the quality of the character that involves from a person who could very easily say, I don't want to work with you. I'm in power now. I am an elected official. But she reached out to us. And I have to say, frankly, we're doing really incredible stuff. Her staff, her demeanor, her individuality is special to us in the business community. I just want to take a moment and thank you personally for your partnership. So please give our commissioner one more round of applause. There's another individual, Reverend Mondane. You showed up at our... Yeah, right. He deserves a round of applause. You may have heard of something called the Portland Clean Energy Fund. Yeah. This is something we also did not endorse. If you're looking for prognostication, you want to know what's going to happen in the next election, just choose the opposite of what the Portland Business Alliance is going to be endorsing. So the Reverend and some of his colleagues showed up on our doorstep and did not receive the warmest of welcomes. It's the truth. And I have to say, that's not right, and you deserve better. Since that point in time, I can tell you this, and this is for all of you to know, we get together every other month or so to do nothing more than just break bread. And for those of you who have been deep in race conversations around racial equity, you understand that this is not an end game. There is no destination here. And that I could talk about policy and I could talk about the big picture, but really it's about human connection. And personally, from me to you, I appreciate the human connection you've brought to me. So for all of you, if you're gonna walk away tonight, you can get yourself fired up like Ron Wyden was. I get excited whenever he talks. But I'd ask all of you to get fired up about making a human connection, because that's where it starts on an individual basis. And the fact that you've invited me and the Portland Business Alliance here tonight to be a part of this celebration means a whole lot. And to the two of you, I want you to know I personally appreciate both of you. So from me to all of you, have a great evening, and let's do this thing. So.
All right. So you guys are still with us. I'm loving that. Now, the brother I'm about to introduce to you, he and I go way back. I know I look like I'm like 20-something, right? But I've been around for a little while, right? And one of the people I met when I first came to Oregon is the gentleman I'm about to introduce. And talk about a freedom fighter from way back. Talk about a freedom fighter who has been consistent for the entire 30 years that I've known him. He's a man that rarely takes credit for the incredible work that he's done over the last 30 years. He built an organization to stand up for farm workers' rights. He built leadership from young Latino leaders who didn't see themselves reflected in the leadership around them. He has been a strong black-brown ally from the day I met him. The man I'm talking about is Ramon Ramirez. He recently retired from Pecun, but I had the pleasure of spending some time on a radio show with him, with Dr. Martinet, earlier this week, and learned that he is doing something that really, really, really speaks to my heart. Because you would think after 30 years of building a farm workers union, building a radio station, building an economic development engine in Woodburn, that he'd be like ready to ride off into the sunset, right? You would think he'd be just resting on his laurels, but he's not. This is a man of integrity. This is a man of courage. And this is a man that I am honored to call a dear friend, Ramon Ramirez.
Thank you very much, Joanne. I want to also thank the Reverend Edie and the leadership of the NAACP for allowing me to say a few words today. I just transitioned out, like Joanne says, of Pecun, the Farm Worker Union, after 43 years of service, 25 of those as president of the union. I leave Pecun in the hands of a new generation led by a 32-year-old woman. Her parents were members of our union, Reina Lopez. So that she and the new leadership of Pecun can continue working at bringing about justice to the people that put food on our table, who work backbreaking jobs to put that food on our table and still do not have the rights that other workers have enjoyed for many, many years. Today, those workers, many of them are Latinx, Latinos working in the fields here in the state of Oregon. But it wasn't too long ago that those people that worked in the fields were African American. So our history of the farm workers did not start with Cesar Chavez or with Dolores Huerta, but was led by that man over there, Frederick Douglass, who led the revolt of black slaves for economic freedom in our country. That's the founder of the farm worker movement in this country. And Cesar recognized that, because every time I talked to him, he would remind us of the contributions of not only the black worker, but also the Filipino workers. And he would always have, at the end of his fast, the last fast that he had was for 36 days, he had Coretta King by his side and broke Barrett with her when he broke the 36-day fast. So our histories are tied together, right? And we still see reminiscence of Jim Crow and the sharecropping system that kept our brothers and sisters in economic slavery. Today, in the state of Oregon, farm workers do not enjoy a lot of the rights and benefits that many workers enjoy in America and in the state of Oregon. So the work will continue. I was just selected the Taconic Fellow from the Community Change Organization, formerly known as the Center for Community Change. I will work 1 year as a fellow, and my project that I will be carrying out in 5 states in this country is building black unity and building black and brown power to create change. And I will use all my experience, 49 years as an organizer, 49 years of work in the community to build that unity. Because it's not enough anymore to remove the thorns of racism. We gotta start organizing together. And we gotta start building that relationship. And I am here to tell the Reverend AD that PECUN and our farm worker movement, led by 10 organizations that I helped form, from economic development to a radio station, 2 radio stations, to housing, to women's organizing, to youth organizing, and a leadership institute called Capac's Leadership Institute, that we are ready to work hand in hand with the NAACP and sign an agreement, a memorandum of understanding to build the kind of unity and to build the kind of coalition it's gonna take so that we can end, the genocides of black males. Because that's what's happening. That we stop the school to prison pipeline. That we work to create a just immigration system in our country so that we stop the deaths at the borders, right? These are hardworking people that put food on our table, that live under the shadows, and we gotta work to get them out of the shadows and get them documented, right? This is what we're able to do because we cannot no longer wait till the doors open for us. We gotta organize. And we have a concept at PECUN and the farm worker movement of radical generosity. And we are ready to share that with the NAACP. As we go into Salem, we have Senator Fredericks here who can test, who can say, like, we have been successful in the legislature over the last 10 years at creating some really concrete change for folks of color. So we're willing to do that, working shoulder to shoulder, working hand to hand for that change. And we will make it happen. Thank you. And I just want to close by saying this, Joanne, that You know, one of my fondest memories that I've had in the civil rights movement is I got a call from state senator in Alabama. And he calls me up, he goes, son, you might not know me, but my name is Hank Sanders. And I want to invite you and all your immigrant brothers and sisters to come and join us at that iconic march from Selma, Alabama to Montgomery. I didn't tell Senator Hank Sanders, well, let me check my calendar. I said, when did you want me there and how many people? We showed up 10,000 strong, crossing the Edmund Pettus Bridge. And I think that anybody that works for social justice needs to take that march, needs to walk those 7 days from Selma to Montgomery, because your heart and your mind will change. And you will see and you will feel our brothers and sisters who sacrificed for us for a better life. Thank you very much.
My brother, Ramon Ramirez. I tell you, that's a brother you want in your court when there's a fight about to happen. Because not only does he show up, he brings people with him. I am so grateful to have known him for so many years. It is now my pleasure to bring back Zella Jackson Price for one more selection. I am so thrilled that we are moving this program along, but this program is so important because what we know about the NAACP, let me dispel some myths, because people think the president of the NAACP gets a 6-figure income. Let me let you know, the pay to be president of the NAACP is 0. The amount of time it takes to be president of the NAACP is somewhere between 30 to 40 hours a week. The amount, 50, some weeks are like that, right? I think it's important that people understand that nobody does volunteer work with the NAACP for pay, for prestige, for position, for notice, because guess what? Most of the work, people don't even see it. Most of the meetings, most of the negotiations don't happen in public. So before I turn this over for what I know will just warm my soul, the next gospel tune, I want to take a moment and ask you to join me in applauding E.D. Moninay, the president of the NAACP Portland branch. Okay, I'm giving a mic to Miss Zelda Price.
Zella. It's a musical name. La 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 la, Zella. I am so thankful for Pastor Mondane inviting me here. And I am just blessed to be up under the messages of such wonderful leaders and political leaders here tonight. And we must carry this message to other cities. I'm taking it back home to St. Louis, and it's a great time to live in this moment in America. He looked beyond my faults and saw my needs. I gave my picture, Pastor Mondane asked for my picture, so I gave him a picture. He said, this is kind of young picture. I said, you ought to be glad I was going to give you my preschool picture. You know what they say about black, you know, you don't crack, baby. That picture was taken That picture was taken about 40 years ago. I would think I'm 80 years old now. Give me a hand. Make me look good now here. Make me look like Yellow Zeller here. Amazing grace shall always be my song of praise, for it was grace that bought my liberty. Just why he came to love me so, but he looked beyond all of my faults and he saw my needs. Amazing grace shall always be. That's my song of praise, for it was grace that bought my true liberty. I'll never know just why he came. Why did you love me so? But it looked beyond all of my faults. He said, I see just what you need. I shall forever lift my eyes. Oh, show me Calvary. Oh, show me Calvary. And view the cross where he died. Did he die? He died for you and for me. Yeah! What not marvelous? That grace caught my fallen soul. When he looked beyond all of my faults, ain't you glad? He saw what we need. Come on, praise him on the instruments. Oh, yeah, yeah. I shall forever lift my eyes.
round of applause. Yes, yes, yes. Woo, you feel that. You just gotta feel, that's that feeling kind of music, right? You just gotta get into your bones and you just gotta move and you feel it and you know it's good. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It is my pleasure to introduce the president of the NAACP Oregon, Washington, Alaska region, Gerald Hankerson, to the stage. Welcome. I'm going to be surprised when you do it, right? This is my surprise look.
First of all, this award, I'll make sure I got the right one, President. All right, Joanne Hardesty, which was surprise. Well, let me just first say that when I took over the NAACP for the region about 7 years ago, this was my first pick to be on my board at the regional level. And I hated the fact she joined the commission because she left my team, but she definitely did a great job. We appreciate you, my sister. Yes, ma'am. She got me in trouble with the national office a lot, but I appreciate it. But Joanne Hardesty served the United States Navy and was elected to the Oregon House in 1994, holding office until 2001. She later served as executive director of the Oregon Action and became president of the Portland branch, not chapter, of the NAACP in January 2015. In 2007, Hardesty began hosting Voices from the Edge, a progressive talk radio program on KBOO, a community radio station here in Portland. The call-in show addressed racial disparity, government accountability, environmental justice, and politics on local, state, and national levels. I wonder where you got it from. Hardesty ran for Portland City Council in 2018 for the open seat being vacated by the retiring Dan Salzman, receiving approximately 62% of the votes cast and was sworn in as a city commission on January 2nd, 2019 this year. Congratulations, my sister, as to our Freedom Fund Awards recipient 2019.
We're posing for a picture.
You go, girl. Yeah.
Introducing Senator Lou Fredericks. At the Metropolitan Learning Center in the mid-70s, Senator Phillips taught kindergarten through 12 classes in basic skills, philosophy, literature, cultural studies, current controversies, and more. His kindergarten students now introduce Lou to their own elementary school children with pride. In the late 80s and early 90s, Lou organized gatherings in the living room of Irvington fifth graders and more than 90 successful professionals from diverse fields to open the youngsters' eyes to the opportunities available to them. Years later, Senator Frederick frequently runs into students who thank him for his guidance, his credit, and he credits him with leading them to their careers. Something I know about Senator Fredericks is that he's honest. Something I know about Senator Fredericks is that his word is true. He's not moved with symbolism, and he doesn't mince words. This is a man of his word, and his actions have shown who he is. It is with pride that we give this Freedom Award 2019 to Senator Lou Fredericks for all he's done in Oregon and for his service, especially to the African American community.
Thank you very much. I've got to tell you that I did not know I was going to get this award until about 2:30 in the morning when I was sitting in Tianjin, China. And that was just a few days ago. In fact, just last night is when I got back from China. So I am on a jet lag that I've never even thought I could experience. I really appreciate the award. I appreciate it for a number of reasons. One is, many folks don't know this, but, well, I can tell you about it this way. In July, I came around the corner of the exhibition in Jackson, Mississippi, the Civil Rights Museum. And I came around the corner, and there was a picture of a woman standing there with James Meredith and Medgar Evers. And I looked at this woman and I said, I know her, why do I know her? And I grabbed my mom and I said, I was at a family reunion. I grabbed my mom and I said, who is that? And then looked at the picture, and it was a woman named Constance Baker Motley. Now, many of you don't know who she was, but she became a federal judge, but she was my attorney for my court case to desegregate the Atlanta school system. Final court case. And so I'm looking at this woman, and she was my attorney because of the NAACP. NAACP came and said, we're going to do this. I am very pleased to be able to be, this is an award that I will be showing my mom because she's with the NAACP chapter at Tuskegee, Alabama right now. I was her show and tell one night. And it was a great night because what had happened is a couple months before they had managed to get all of the folks out to vote in Alabama. You remember that election? 2018, that election? Well, she managed to get, she is 90 years old, but she fortunately got in a car and her van and drove and picked up people to make sure that they made it to vote. You've heard a lot about voting issues going on, and the Senator Wyden and Congressman Earl Blumenauer are talking about that. We've had the issues here in Oregon, and I've been lucky enough to do a lot of things with it. And I won't go over the list, but I'm really proud of what we managed to do this last election. And we did that because of you. See, you got to recognize that this is not just a couple people standing up there doing things. We have to be elected, and we have to be supported, and we have to be preaching to the choir and having the choir come down and say, you've got to do this. And you folks have done that constantly. And I have pictures of Joanne sitting at my desk, but there are lots of other folks here who we've managed to see down in Salem and get some things accomplished. And a lot of them are elections. We managed to get Student Success Committee. Is Ramon still here? Did he leave? That's unfortunate. If you get a chance, you want to visit the little town of Woodburn. You want to visit the schools in Woodburn. You want to see why they have a 98% graduation rate in Woodburn. And they have a 62% Latino population in the schools in Woodburn. And they have the kindergartners start off in dual language immersion programs, all of them in Spanish and Russian. And they come out with biliteracy certificates. It's an incredible effort, but that helped to do things in terms of things there. And I'll finish up. I see you, Joanne. You aren't fooling anybody. But I wanted to say something else, because what I'm trying to do is things that are in the future. And the concerns that I have right now are not just about housing and economic development. They're also about a couple of things that my other background is in molecular biology. And how many of you know what CRISPR is? I see a few hands going up. Only a few hands need to have gone up. You all need to know what that is. This is the ability to put to change the genes in a living organism. Insert genes into a living organism. Change what they're responsible for. And you know, sickle cell is a great idea, but it might also potentially do things like change the eye color and the muscles and all sorts of things that could happen, take place there. We also know about 23andMe, right? All of you know about that kind of thing. So what does that mean? It means that we have a situation where most of our people don't know what the genetic situations, what the science and the medical situations are going to be like in the next 20 years. That's going to be one of the potential thorns that the NAACP needs to know about. We need to have you doing something about that and thinking about it. So I'm going to bring that up, and then Joanne's going to come in and push me off of here. And that's just fine, I understand. I'm pretty tired. I love you. I know, but
My friend, I know, it's all good. Thank you so much, Senator Lou Frederick, for all that you do. Oh yeah, that's me, thank you. Okay, gotta get my eyes again, because looking cute is not sufficient. I gotta be able to read the program, right? We are coming towards the end. I want to invite Dr. Vernon Baker up to the stage. He's going to announce some scholarships that the NAACP will be giving out tonight. Is Dr. Vernon Baker, is that a no? Oh, he's coming? Oh, okay. All right. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Actually, I'm going to announce individuals whose scholarships will be given in their honor.
Okay.
And so, which I think is very important for us to understand. A lot of times when we do scholarships, the people who are being given the scholarship in honor of oftentimes are afterthoughts. And we focus on the scholarship and the recipient. But I think it's important for us to recognize the person that the scholarship is in honor of, because there's something significant about their contributions and what they've given and what the person receiving the scholarship can learn from them. So we want to make sure, our goal is that when we give out these scholarships, I believe in next September 2020, that these individuals who receive the scholarship in the honor, in the name of the individuals that we're going to recognize tonight, that they will have opportunity to get to know those individuals and spend some time with them so they can really appreciate what that person that they're receiving that scholarship in honor of has done in our community. Amen? Amen. Amen. First, our first honoree, well, the person that's going to be honored as a scholarship in their name is our own Dr. Cynthia Viola Harris. All right. Dr. Harris, serving as the current first vice president of the Portland branch of the NAACP, has been a member of the Portland NAACP for over 10 years. She chairs the membership committee and has been instrumental in its phenomenal growth over that time. She is the Chief Executive Officer of CVH Events Foundation and is a strong leading in coaching, consulting, and other engagements. Dr. Harris previously served as the principal of Jefferson High School for 4 years. Let's give her another hand clap. Some student will be receiving a scholarship in her name. Thank you. Next we have Bernie and Bobby Foster. That's right, give her a hand. have published the widely renowned community newspaper, The Scanner. Now, if you've been in Portland, Oregon for any length of time, especially in Northeast Portland, you cannot not know about The Scanner. The Scanner in Portland and Seattle for more than 40 years. The Scanner Foundation has helped more than 500,000 students attend college. Now, how many knew that? Over 500,000 students were impacted by their foundation. The Fosters have been recognized by many community organizations in Portland, including the Oregon Historical Society, Volunteers of America, which awarded them the Vicatia Lifetime Achievement Award, and tonight they're being honored by the NAACP. Let's give them a hand one more time. Next, we have Nikenge Harmon Johnson, who is the current president and CEO for the Urban League of Portland. She earned her Juris Doctorate from Howard University School of Law and is a member of the Oregon State Bar and District of Columbia Bar. Nikenge contributes to the growth of the Urban League and is an important advocate in this community. We have so many rich jewels within our community, and we need to celebrate them on a regular basis. This individual, Dr. J.N. Merriman, the Portland NAACP branch 1120 was founded by Dr. J.N. Merriman in 1914. He also served as the NAACP's president. One of the chapter's earliest goals was to remove the exclusion laws from the state constitution. Dr. Merriman guided the NAACP in many campaigns, focusing on civil rights legislation in Oregon, and gave future leaders the courage to move forward. Let's give him a hand at this time. These next two individuals have been cemented in the Portland community for several years. Mr. Ed Washington, was a civil rights leader and a member of the Portland NAACP. He became the first African-American counselor for the Portland Metro Council. He served as a community liaison for diversity initiatives and inclusion for Portland State University. Ed joined the NAACP in 1956, straight out of high school after experiencing job hiring discrimination. Let's give Mr. Washington another hand. And finally, we have Mr. Michael Chappie Grice. Hey. Born in Portland in 1948, he is one of the rare Portland natives, son of a railroad man. He is now in his 51st year of public school as a public school educator. With his lifelong associate, Mr. Ken Berry, he is a co-producer of the annual tribute to Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. The 2020, that's right. The 2020 program will be their 35th. Mr. Grice is a grandfather. He's a filmmaker and Oregon Arts Commissioner, and currently directs the Urban Wings, our aerospace club, teaching middle school children the mathematics associated with aviation. In other words, how to fly planes. And we just thank Michael Chappie Grice for all. Now, he just gave me a few tidbits, but he's done so much over the years in this community. And his icons like Michael Chappie Grice said, we need to salute on a regular basis. We often hear that saying, we ought to give people their flowers while they can smell them.
We need to do that with our leaders. And as I take my seat, one of the reasons why I know it's important for us to keep moving forward, I'm the chairperson of the education committee for the NAACP in Portland. I got a call from a parent who was having some challenges in their school. And so I said, well, why don't you just tell them that Dr. Baker's going to be at the next meeting, and I'm the chair of the NAACP education committee. She was like, what's that? I said, NAACP. And I even went out, she had never heard, 40-year-old parent with 3 kids in this Portland school district had never heard of the NAACP. Our work is not done, folks. We need to pass the legacy on and educate this generation about the history of the association. Thank you very much.
We are getting close to the end of our program. I just want to appreciate everyone hanging with us, because it is an honor to be able to celebrate 105 years of work for justice, right? We don't get to do that often, and we have to appreciate the institutions that survive in spite of the challenges that are faced. I want to personally shout out to Cynthia Harris. If you are not a member of the NAACP, do not tell Cynthia Harris. She will track you down. She will find you. She will get your checkbook. So just give it up easily, because that way there won't be any hard feelings. Just give her your money. Become a member before you leave. Just do it. It's the right thing to do. Hey, Cynthia, I'm here for you. We now will get the results of our live auction. I think Antoine's going to come up and tell us about the lucky winners. Oh, you don't look like Antoine.
I'm just holding the microphone.
I think he just keeps giving me bad information so he can make me look bad, right? All right, da-da-da-da. Who's got the numbers? Do we have it?
Are
we ready? Because I could move on.
Well, we're getting late in the evening, so ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, before Antoine comes up, I just want to introduce our band over here, our 5-piece band.
All right.
Corey, Kelly, Carwin, Winston, Philip Tucker, James Wimbish, and Eugen? Eugen? Eugen only got one name. Eugen, he like Cher or somebody. There you go. Right, and you're going to play a little bit more, but without any further ado, we have some beautiful prints right here. Thanks to some incredible people over here, like say Tony Harvey, thank you so much, Tony Brad.
All right, so
let's put our hands together for Antoine.
Antoine,
all right. That's right. Well, if everybody can see it, it's right. Hold on, let me. And since I don't got no platforms, I thought I'd go ahead and just wear my skates. You know what I'm saying? Because if I had the platforms right now, they had fish in them. Okay, but since the fish are dried up right now, I thought I'd roll on my roller skates. Okay, that's how we doing. We finna do this auction right, okay? So you can take a seat if you like. If you want to get your card, you want to bid on some things. Okay, so first and foremost, we're gonna do a quilt. Can you bring that quilt out, brother? The quilt. The quilt. Quilt with a Q. Cute quilt. Look at this quilt right here. This quilt coming out here is handmade. Okay, straight from the hands of the person who made it. This quilt here has more than 1,000 squares on it. Multicolored, made from a unicorn's back. You too can have this quilt. It'll keep you warm in the winter, because you know Portland winters are tough. Right now, the opening bid is at $350. It can wrap the biggest giant that we got, brother man, 6'10". If you are 6'10", you can be wrapped up in it like a burrito. All right? So starting bid on this is $300. Do I got $300? Do I got come on, $300? I gotta have $300. This is about the NAACP building. $300 right there, and I got $350. Can y'all give it up? Can I get $350? $350. 350 right there. Girl, you looking good. Watch out now. 400. Can I get 400? 400 right there. Can I get 450? Can I get 450? Can I get 450? Can I get 450? Can I get 400? 400 going to once. 405. Can I get 405? 405. Can I get 405? 410? What you want to say, Mike? Harper, is that you? You not yes? Harper, your wife loves that quilt. She told me in my ear. All right, 400. I got 400 going once. 450 going once. 450 going twice. 450 sold. To the beautiful lady who's going to dress up her husband in a quilt. This is amazing. Your husband will thank you for the rest of his life. I know it. You guys are so beautiful. I mean, for real. You guys are like Starsky and Hutch, Ebony and Ivory. You are amazing. Can I get Frederick Douglass out here, please? Frederick Douglass. Give a hand praise for Frederick Douglass. He ain't in the building, but if he was, he'd appreciate it. All right, now. Yeah, go ahead. Now, this right here is a one of a kind. One of a kind. Now, if you didn't know Frederick Douglass, hey, I'm telling you, you'd be surprised. I'm almost busting my head right now. Okay? But I'm telling you, if you didn't know Frederick Douglass, I'll tell you to Google him. Okay? Because Google will tell you everything that you need to know about Mr. Frederick Douglass. Even the things you don't want to know. Okay? The simple fact that Brother Harper is holding him up. You caught lopsided, holding him up a little bit. Harper, there you go, you good. No, jab down. Man, I tell you what, Starsky and Hutch for real. Right now, we have a bid going on for Frederick Douglass for $750. The paper doesn't lie. Okay, now I'm gonna tell you right now, if you're white, you should be betting on this right now. This is one of the blackest things you can have in your collection at any given time. I know it to be true. And Wikipedia said that Frederick Douglass is one of the blackest people you could have in the collection. So, starting off with $750, Mr. Antonio, do I got $800 to beat him out? $800. Ain't nobody got $800? Ain't nobody got $800? Can I get $800? 751. Can I get 751? 751. 751. Ain't nobody want to bet on the blackest man you can have in your collection. You don't want to bet $751 on this black man? Huh? We go by 50s, huh? I'm trying to go by 1. I can't get $1 on Antonio, because you're the man. You won this. So, Brother Antonio. Next time, Antonio, bet just place a $1,000 mark, okay? Don't be round up all the way, not just partially, okay? All right, bring up Rosa Parks. This is important. Okay, I'm gonna tell you right now. This picture, Rosa Parks has her staring out the window. You know what she's staring at? She's staring at the next bidder who's finna bid up on this picture right now. Okay, if she could get off this bus, she'd be banking on you to help get her out this bus. Because she's been on this bus for a long time. You know what I'm saying? I mean, she said, I ain't getting off until somebody bet the right price on this one. Start bid. Start bid. $300. Can I get $300 on Rosa Parks? This is a one of a kind. This is an ER collection here. She's plated and plaqued. Okay, so if you didn't know where she was at, she's on the bus, staring out the window, waiting for you to bid on her for $300. I get $300. $300 for Brother Washington. Can I get $350? Can I get $350 on? Can I get $350? All right, right. Can I get $400? Can I get $400? $400 on Washington. Can I get $450? Can I get $450? Come for $450. $450. Give it up. Can I get $500? 500. Can I get 500 on Miss Rosa Parks? Miss Rosa Parks, she was on the bus for a long time. Right on, 500, $550. If you put in $550, you might be at $550. Can I get 600? Can I get 600? Hey, brother, scratching your head, is that 600 right there? Oh, you better watch out, bro. You better watch out. You better use Head and Shoulders. I'm saying 600. Can I get $600? $600 sold. Can I get 7? Can I get 650? 60, gotta give me 650. Rosa Parks been sitting there for a long time, y'all. I'm telling y'all. You know how many government sandwiches she's been eating, waiting on that bus? You know how much? What? 750? He said no. Oh, see, you missed the fine print. See, you didn't see the fine print. It was so fine. Man, I tell you what, it says under there, a live auction is subject to a live auction, for real. I just want to let you know. So it was $750. What I leave off at? 750? Did I leave off at 750? Yeah, you the man right now. You the man of the hour. If I had an hour, you be it right now. $750, $750. I get $700. Can I get $800, Rosa Parks? Come on, government cheese. She's doing tough on government cheese, y'all.
Is it at, John, you said 600.
Yeah, we had 750 already.
I said 650.
650.
Oh, see, I rushed it up and you just messed it up. You've been charging me all night, Mike. 650, no, you could. 650. Can I get 7? What, you want 7? He said 650. And so I said, you want to say 7? He said 7. Do I got 750? Do I got 750? I mean, brother man watching that. 750 in the house. Do I got 8? Do I got 8? And 8 stands for new beginning now. 8 is a new beginning. Rosa Parks means a new beginning. She been on the bus too long. Okay, get off. Can I get 750? 750 going once. 750 going twice. Sold for 750. All right, right on, right on, right on. It is Tony Bears. Boy, you good. Well, I'm gonna keep calling your name all night, period. All right, most importantly, right now we got some of these holiday pies. Okay, now if you didn't know, President Montague can bake pies, y'all. Poshine's got the pie recipe from him, okay? I remember a story when his mother, okay, went ahead and wrestled a groundhog one day. And when the wrestling this groundhog, there was a recipe given, a secret recipe. She said, baby, if you don't want to keep on going through groundhogs today, you gotta make these sweet potato pies like this. And so he said, Mama, I'm listening. And she said, baby, this is how you make it. And so right now, today, and today only, out of all the days of the year, 365 of them on this one, you can get one of these pies. You want one of these pies? I can tell your mouth is watering right now. I got $100 for one of these pies. Can I get $100? I got $100 in the back of the pie. Can I get $150 for a pie? $150 for a pie. Monterey pie, this Apostles pie. This is amazing. You said $150 sweet potato pie. $150 sweet potato pie. Can I get $200 for a sweet potato pie? I mean, this is better than a bean pie. This ain't your Muslim sitting on a block pie. This is a pie from an Apostles kitchen. That was made from a groundhog's wrestling from his mama. Okay? Wait, you said what, for how much? $200 for a pie. Give it up for the lady for $200 for a sweet potato pie. And forget what you said, it's sold. So give it up one more time for Miss Sweet Potato Pie. You said what? They are the best in Portland. You ain't lying. She want to sell hers for $500. Anybody want to buy hers for $500? We're going to move on real quick here. Mr. W.E.B. Du Bois, please. W.E.B. Du Bois. Go ahead and give it up. Now, like Rose, if you don't know him, Google Dub. Okay. This is one of our founders. This is one of our founders. Starting bid, $200. I get $200 on Mr. WEB, the boys. Can I get 200? Can I get 200? 200. Can I get 250? 250. Can I get 250? Can I get 250? Hey, you scratching your head right here in the blue shirt? I'm telling you, dandruff is tough. I gotta go watch that. 250. I get 250. Can I get 250? Can I get 250? 250 on WEB, the boys. It's important. He's a founder. Okay, unlike Rosie, he's not as tired, but he is tired. Because he's been fighting racism and injustice for a long time. Okay, but can I get $250 on it? Can I get 250, 250 right there? Can I get 300? Can I get 300 on? Can I get 300? Can I get 300 right here? 350? Can I get 350? Can I get 350 on Mr. WEB, the boy? 350 right there. Can I get 400? Can I get 400, Mr. WEB? 400, 400. Can I get 5? Can I get 5? Can I get 5? Let's move straight to 5. Straight 5. Can I get 5? Can I get 5? I swear I'm not saying nothing. I swear. Hey, brother man with the white beard, is you itching? You good? Are you good? Are you itching? Because if you itching, I'm selling. Okay, you ain't itching. Okay, I'm sorry, bro. I'm still selling anyway. Can I get 450? Can I get 450 on Mr. WEB Du Bois? Mr. WEB Du Bois, can I get 450? 400? Going one. Hey, give it up for Mr. 400 WEB Du Bois. I got 400 going once. 400's going twice. Sold for $400. Thank you, gentlemen, right here, sipping on the cognac. I'm just telling you, I can tell what it is from here. All right, I'm about to pull something out here because some people have been waiting for this one. I got a watch. I got a special watch. I got a watch that was made, I would say on the backs of slaves, but I ain't gonna say that. Pretty close though. This right here is a watch by Vero. It's handmade. It's their retail value of $3,500. Can I get a whoa? Y'all thought Rolex was the only one. Okay. Made here locally in Portland, so if you are very interested in the carbon blueprint, this has very little. This is right here in your backyard. This is gluten-free. Okay. For all you vegetarians out there, you can bid on this. For this cow was fed off organic grass, okay, in the hills of Troutdale. Starting bid on this one. You getting up close? You want to see it up close? Here, no problem. I'll show it real close for you, baby. It's no problem. Hey, the skates is what it is. Okay, it's a skate to you. Okay, because you about to start this bid. I want to start the bid off with $500. Can I get $500 on this here watch? For $500. Come on. Come on. I know. Where? 500. Give it up for 500. We can start this off. See, obviously this brother man knows fine taste when he sees it. Okay? He knows a vegetarian watch when he sees it. A gluten-free, organic, homegrown organic Oregon watch. Can I get $550 on this here watch? Can I get $550 on this? Can I get $550 on this here watch? $550. Are you serious? You don't let me get this? You don't let this brother man go walk out of here with $500 watch? It's $3,500 watch for watching $500. This is better than Ross. Okay, I know Marshall shut down in Lloydton, but right now I'm holding up a Marshall's deal right now. Okay, this is it right here. Okay, homegrown fed. Can I get $550? $550. $550? I can't get a $550. $550. I knew I could. You see, brother man, when you travel to Portland, you gotta travel in style. I'm just saying. Can I get $600? Oh, $600. $600. You told me to quit talking. $600. I want $600. I got $650 because you already marked on $600. Can I get $650 on this here watch? I'm stopped talking. I got $650. Who here got $650? I know brother man out there in the winery got more than $650. I'm telling you, you get $1 for each grape, bro. I know. I know you got more than 650. You want to go for this right now? Your family back home will appreciate it so very much. You want to go for 650, brother? You sure? It's all right. We can do IOU later on. It's cool. It's cool, bro. We can do a layaway plan. I ain't mad at you, brother, man. All right, brother, man. Sold for $600, brother John Washington. Thank you, brother. So very much for helping NAACP. Mind you, this is organic. It's been certified. Okay. There's the information on the back of how to treat it. Okay, how to deal with it, how to pet it. It's important. How to dress the glass. You can't use biochemical soap. Only spit and shine. Okay, that's it. It's important. On the leather, only juices and berries. Okay? On the leather. It's important. I'll go ahead and put this up for you, brother, because that is important. Next print. Next print coming up. Native American scene, please. Now this here, fellas, you know, I would be doing you a great justice if I would tell you who the artist was. So I ain't gonna tell you because I don't remember it right now. Who? Turpentine. Thank you, brother, because you obviously saw the signature on it, marking it number 4 of 200 on that print. I bet it is, no problem. And so what we're gonna do is we're gonna start this bid off here at $500. $500. This is the original art piece right here. This is numbered, number 4 of 200. This artist here has painted thousands of Native American pieces, but this one here in particular is numbered and signed by the artist. I want to start this one off at $500. So I got $500 on the Native American art. 500. Do I got $600 on Native American art? 600. Can I get 600? Can I get 600? Can I get 600? Can I get 6? Is that you right there in the blue? Good, good girl on the blue. You are good. 600 for the girl in the blue right there. Give it up for the girl in the blue. Give it up for the girl in the blue. Can I get 650? Can I get 650? 650 right there. Good deal. No problem. I got 700. I got 700. I got 700 Native American artifact right here. This right here will allow you to stand on standing rock without any hurt or shame. You will be one of the equals if you get this painting right here. I promise you. 650? Can I get 650 going once? 650 going twice. Sold for Brother Washington 650. Thank you so very much. All right, we want to bring out this masterpiece here. Last one here, Brother Harper. Could you grab Miss Sally Hemmings? Sally Hemmings. Now, if y'all don't know Miss Sally Hemmings, Thomas Jefferson sure did. I'm just gonna keep it real, okay? Because if anybody knew her, he did, okay? This piece here right here is an original piece, one-of-a-kind piece. This is a piece that we have not been able to find nowhere, anywhere, but we have it right here before you, plated. Miss Sally Hemmings. Once again, if you didn't know who she was, Thomas Jefferson, that was his homegirl, I should say that. Homegirl, yeah. Homegirl that happened to have some other, kids and stuff like that. Homegirl, Sometimes homegirl back then meant you had kids, that weren't necessarily with your husband, with somebody else. And so she was a homegirl. But to Thomas Jefferson, the most important homegirl that he's ever had. She is beautiful, okay? And he thought it was so important that he went ahead and made some more kids with her because she was such a beautiful homegirl. This piece right here is valued at $5,000, starting the bid at $500. So I got $500 on Miss Sally Hemmings. This is 5. I got 5. Good deal. But I got 600 on Miss Sally Hemmings. I got 600 on me. Can I get 6? Can I get 6? Can I get 600 on Miss Sally Hemmings? 600. Can I get 600? Can I get 600 on Miss Sally Hemmings? Can I get $600 on Miss Sally Hemmings? You don't know what it's like. Have you been messing with Thomas Jefferson before? Have you ever had to deal with things that you've never been having to deal with before? Have you had to do things that you didn't want to do? Okay, Miss Sally Hemmings did a lot of that, okay? Can you give it up for Miss Sally Hemmings because she needs some love up in here. More than $400 or $500, right? Can I get $600 for Sally Hemmings? Can I get, is that you? Did I get 600? Did you blink at me for 600? Did you blink at 600? You bit your finger for 600. Can I get 650? Can I get 650? Bartender right there, I got you for 650, brother man. Thank you so very much. 650. Can we get 6 $650. I gotta get $650 for Miss Sally Hemings. It's real wood. It's real wood. It's real wood. The frame itself is 200 years old. Do you know how many stories the frame could tell you? I bet you it knows all the stories of Sally Hemings. All the stories. So right now I got $500. Going once. The frame alone is $1,000, but obviously people in this room ain't got $1,000. Okay. Or if they do, some. Yeah, Tony, man. Hey, Tony, what's up, man? I got Sally Hemings over here, man. One of the blackest black women that ever been around, man. Hey, she had an afro. She be wearing it right now, man. She be in my skates right now, man. Do I got $600 on you, bro? Come on, man. She was your same skin tone, bro. She a family member. Going once. I got 500 going once, Miss Sally Hemings. Going once. Going twice. Sold, Miss Sally Hemings, $500. Thank you so very much. I want to keep it moving. I am finished with this part. We thank you so very much. Miss Joanne, it's all you.
Put a hand together for Antoine. So Antoine on skates, I know, right? He's bad enough when he's not on skates. We have a video coming up next. And please, just take a moment and keep your eyes on the screen.
I'm glad that mic is off, Joanne. See you. Hey, who bid on this $500 painting, Sally? Who won it? I think somebody way down.
So who was the bidder for Sally Hemings? Back there, the gentleman back there. Technical difficulties, maybe? You got it? Okay.
Technical difficulties here, please hold.
and indifference of the good people.
Guide me over, great Jehovah, pilgrim in this barren land. I am weak, but you are mighty Lord.
Our only hope today lies in our ability to recapture the revolutionary spirit.
I am a stranger, the road is so lonely. Sleepless nights are mocking me. Traveling homeward is where I'm going, Lord. I want to be free, Lord. Please make me free. I need to see your face, Lord. There you are in those brilliant.
Declaring eternal opposition to poverty, racism, and militarism.
Lord, thunder rides in your existence. Swing down low, let me ride on, Lord. Swing down, let me ride. Nighttime rides have no more meaning now. They're just like another day. Take my hand, Lord, and I'll plow right through them, Lord. Swing down low, sweet chariot, stop and let me ride. Yeah, I need to see your face, Lord. There you are in those brilliant flashes, light across the sky. Oh, thunder rides in your existence. Swing down, let me ride. Swing down, and let me ride. Swing down, sweet chariot, stop and let me ride. Swing down, sweet chariot. Swing down, sweet chariot, stop and let me ride.
We will not make a butchery of our conscience. We will not be intimidated, and we will be heard.
Please put your hands together for Reverend Edie Martinet, President of the NAACP Portland branch.
We didn't get a chance to, and I don't want to be remiss tonight to honor four people, and I don't want that to come up. But the hour is late, and one of these awards is extremely important. The hour is very late, and I'm so grateful that you were able to stand with us for this long. But there are three awards that I think are really important, and we'll make a big to-do and take pictures afterwards. But we have been helped so much this year by these people that I'm going to talk about. Ms. Darlene Andrus, which is our regional secretary, has been in the gaps and stood in the fight with us, and we just want to recognize you tonight for your wonderful work. We have another community service award that goes out to Robert Phillips. Robert Phillips has been a long advocate in the Portland community for his hard work. And of course, we want to honor Carl Talton. For his fantastic work in our community. I am so thrilled that you are able to be here with us this night and to celebrate this 150 years with all of us. In honor of the creator of all things, Yahweh, to our president, Gerald Hankerson, our regional president, the the constituency that's in the room, that represents every house of worship represented here in Portland, to the elected officials in the room and to the heads of every organization in attendance here today. Welcome. I am especially grateful to my co-workers, the executive board of the NAACP branch, 1120. They are the backbone that make things happen. I am truly grateful to the Celebration Tabernacle family for allowing your pastor to go forth in this great work of bringing our gifting to the beloved community. Today, we were kissed by an angel through the music ministry of one of the few living legends of gospel music, Miss Zella Jackson Price. I've had the distinct pleasure of knowing Miss Price most of my life and honored with the privilege of working with she and other St. Louis-born gospel greats throughout the great Midwest. Another St. Louis great, Elizabeth Hobbs Keckley, a seamstress for 2 presidents' wives, and for the Washington Elite Society, wrote her autobiography, 30 Years a Slave and 4 Years in the White House. The opening line of my address to you this evening is a quote from her autobiography. She wrote, "The road was rugged and full of thorns, and mute appeals for help too often were answered by cold neglect. The bright and gleaming star that has for centuries acted as a beacon light that has drawn peoples from every race and ethnicity to the shores of our blessed America is democracy. A government by the people, for the people, especially the rule of the majority. A place where systems of checks and balances are levied to keep the majority from overpowering the minority. Elections are key in the democratic process. The people that we the people elect are expected to be navigators through rugged roads of thorns that the agonizing pains of thistles would not fall on deaf ears and non-empathetic hearts. These hallowed halls of justice is where we trust folk that say they know what they're doing to do it. And if they can't, we must demand that they find a way or be removed and replaced with somebody that can get the job done. One of the chief definite aims of Portland's NAACP is to launch a massive voter registration movement. Partnered with the voter registration movement must be voters' awareness education. It is the lack of knowledge, access to information, and awareness of critical issues that have destroyed black and brown communities by way of gentrification across the nation. The lack of education has also served as a catalyst and culprit for failed school systems and culture assassination. To understand the power in politics gives us a clear view of who to vote into office, and to further understand what voting in any direction should produce. It is imperative that all communities, especially marginalized communities that are usually black and brown, understand the power in the united and the unified vote. This is the best prescription for taking control of our own community politics and insist that the services necessary to provide for our community are in place. A democratic society must be able to lean and depend on the pillars of democracy that guarantee true equity, inclusion, and very importantly, to strengthen the power found in diversity. The roof of democracy is held up by 7 bearing pillars that house the liberties promised to every American citizen: a civil society, accountability in government, the power of free speech, freedom of expression, transparency, and real important to redlined and marginalized communities, decentralization. The opportunity to voice opinions and concerns and to hold elected officials accountable is essential, and voting should ensure that opportunity. All that has been spoken is our hope, but what is our reality? Brother Malcolm X reminded us that sitting at the table doesn't make you a diner unless you eat some of what's on the plate. Being here in America doesn't make you an American. You have to enjoy the fruits of America. You have enjoyed the thorns and the thistles. Thorns and thistles, in my view, represent racism. A right now, present day reminder of the things that choke out fruit in the lives of people, giving way to the things that would rather wound us than nourish us. Racism shows up with a completely different agenda than that of bigotry, hatred, and discrimination. Racism adheres to one group given the power to carry out systemic discrimination through institutional policies and practices of the society and by shaping the culture, beliefs, and values that support those racist policies and practices. In 2017, Portland, Oregon was named the 4th fastest gentrifying city in the United States by Realtor.com. We have been smitten by the urban containment scenario, or the syndrome, having its effect on rising housing prices to Portland's urban growth boundary. The predominant function of thorns and thistles is a deterrent. It is designed to facilitate a mechanical defense, an automatic distractor. The deliberate denialism of targeted races of people from plucking fragrant roses of wealth building becomes a thorn, a mechanical defense. The displacement of over 10,000 low-income African-American families that continue to be ostracized from economic revitalization is a thorn. It is a distractor. The continued experience of disproportionately poor economic impacts and vulnerability of being displaced through steady increasing rents and exclusion from economic opportunity is a thorn. My brothers and sisters that dwell with me in this beloved city and the community of Portland, Oregon, it's time to cease and desist from positions that prevent the progression of Black and brown people. It's right now time to put to rest prejudice and social and institutional power. It's time to stand against the systems of advantage that are based on race. It's time to fight systems of oppression that are based on race. We must all stand against systems of white supremacy and stamp out hate. Wouldn't it be wonderful if instead of preventing the pricking of a rose that we plant rose bushes? We are to plant rose bushes in the yard spaces of every displaced African-American family in Portland, ensuring that we become stakeholders and players in the economic game. The testament to Black America's real worth and its value are grounded, but not always well represented, in America's history, economy, geography, and government structures. Living in Black America should not reflect a fragile existence for such important and necessary resources housed in black and brown people. The United States of America is the greatest superpower of the world, and it is the greatest superpower that the world has ever known. We are strong in manpower and have considerable purchasing power. We cannot allow the socioeconomic disparities and structural systemic subjugation to become a threat to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness to any peoples that reach our shores in search of a better tomorrow. Portland, it is our duty. It is absolutely our pleasure. It is absolutely our opportunity, and we have the opportunity now to reverse the narrative that says we are the whitest city in America, to speak and say that we are the most inclusive city in America. In a state that has been coined the only state in the United States history to be founded and wrapped in racism, we have an opportunity in this 2000s to make a difference. We are the people that can do it. We are people strong and proud. We are a city of roses that has the fragrance of goodness and opportunity, beginning from the Lewis and Clark Trail in St. Louis, ending here in Portland, Oregon. I say to you that because it ended here, we ought to finish to fight the war for inclusion and racism right here in Portland. I'm looking forward to a wonderful year. I'm looking forward to wonderful things happening in the NAACP. I'm so grateful, and I'm so sorry that our president didn't get a chance to make a greater response, but we want to thank him for being here with us tonight. We want to thank all of the other chapters of the NAACP from surrounding areas for being here tonight. And I especially thank you, my brothers and my sister, for continuing to support us in the race. I am Edie Mondene. I'm the president of the NAACP. I thank you for being here, and now I want you to do something for me. Stay strong. We're supposed to go out on a song that says, "We shall overcome." I like to hold somebody's hand right next to you. And we're going to sing it like the old Negro spiritual that it is. And I want you to sing it to the top of your lungs that all of Portland can hear you. Oh, Lord, we shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome someday. Oh, deep in my heart, I do believe. I do believe, oh, that we shall overcome someday. Let's do it one more time and make the devil hear it this time. Well, we shall overcome. Hallelujah, we shall overcome. Yes, we shall overcome someday. I know deep in my heart, I do believe. Oh, that we shall overcome someday. God bless you, everybody. Have a blessed night. Looking forward to seeing you again next year.
I keep on. I keep that same old feeling. Keep on. I keep that same old feeling.